Dragon Age Inquisition was rated M for mature by the ESRB and contains blood, intense violence, nudity, sexual content, and strong language. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, my name is Amaronith and I play games for the internet, and today we're playing Dragon Age Inquisition. Last time we spent the entire time at the war table, but now it's time for some Codex entries. We begin with characters. Blackwall. Constable of the Grey, Silverite Wings of Valor, hardly relevant now. They are Warden Blackwall's achievements, and the man we thought to be him was someone else entirely. It explains why I had scant information on Blackwall. He must have been lying low for years. I compiled everything I had on Thomas Rainier. Read on, Leliana. What follows is a history of Thomas Rainier, prepared for delivery by Sister Leliana. Rainier was born in Markham, a city-state in the Free Marches. There is little information on his early life, but he was already a skilled warrior by the time he turned 18. Hoping to make his fortune, he joined the Grand Tourney, that great martyr contest of arms. He won the melee, proving himself and earning a substantial sum of gold. What happened to the coin Rainier won in the tourney is a mystery. 2 years later, he appeared in Orlais, no richer than at 18. Still, he leveraged his abilities and lingering fame to gain a place in the Orlesian army. Rainier excelled as a soldier, rising through the ranks quickly to become a captain with a number of men under him. Rainier's men were fiercely loyal. Our sources believe that many would have gladly defied a higher command at his word. On the surface, Rainier safeguarded his men's interest, but further investigation reveals that he was primarily concerned with his own advancement and profit. Rainier's desire to amass a fortune likely explains his involvement in the massacre of Lord Vincent Callier and his family. Our sources tell us that Rainier was approached by a chevalier, Sir Robert Chapuis. Sir Robert supported Grand Duke Gaspard's claim to the throne and wished to enter into his good graces by eliminating Lord Callier, one of Celine's staunchest allies. Chapuis hired Rainier to assassinate Callier and offered him a great deal of coin for it. We have no reason to believe his actions were politically motivated. In the spring of 935, Lord Callier and his family were traveling to their summer home on Lake Celestine when their caravan was ambushed. It is unknown if Rainier realized that Callier would be traveling with his family. Rainier and his men slaughtered Lord Callier and his entourage. They spared not even the children, all 4 under the age of 13. It seems that none of Rainier's men were aware of the true reasons behind the Lord's killing. They simply followed Rainier's orders. Rumors of Rainier's connection to the murders began swirling through the upper ranks of the army, and must have given him forewarning. He was gone when the guards came to arrest him. His men, however, were not so lucky. Almost all were charged with treason, save a few who managed to get away. Tom Rainier was labeled a traitor and a criminal, but remained at large until now. Hero of Ferelden. The Hero of Ferelden once belonged to a clan of Dalish elves. An encounter with a tainted magical mirror corrupted the hero. Only the Grey Wardens held the cure. To save the hero's life, the clan gave her up to the Grey Warden Commander Duncan and the Order. After defeating the Archdemon and ending the 5th Blight, the Hero of Ferelden took up the mantle of Warden Commander. She began the task of rebuilding the Order in Ferelden, serving with honor until her disappearance several years later. The Inquisition has discovered that she has gone west in search of a way to cure the calling. Letters and Notes. A Different Darkspawn? The journal, penned by an unknown writer, appears to be quite old, with many of its pages damaged by water and dust. The entries that can be read all appear to be about 20 years old. We finally found a Mook alive in that passage. Still can't believe it. The only reason I didn't stop digging is because he had the key to the cache, but after 2 weeks I was expecting to find it on his corpse. What story does he come up with? That he was found by a darkspawn of all things, a talking darkspawn, polite as you please, who fed him and gave him water, and evidently chatted with him about servicers. I don't know what a muck is thinking, coming up with a story like that, but he swore by the stone it was all the truth. Crazy as it sounds, I know a muck, and he's got the imagination of a dull hammer. Why would he make something like that up? Reminds me of a story my grandsire used to tell, about something his grandsire did. Said he once came upon a group of 3 darkspawn in the deeper roads, each twice the size of any dwarf, bigger than humans even, dressed up like kings. He watched from the shadows and said they talked like people about things he couldn't understand. A city gone black, and they blamed each other for things but could barely remember for what. My mam was like that, never remembered the slight, just that she was angry. Story goes they attacked each other, and one ran off while the second choked the third to death and then ate him. Don't know about darkspawn having talking kings, never mind polite ones that give you food and tea, but maybe a muck met one of them. There's strange things in the deeper roads, after all, things the shapers can't even recall, as if smuggling wasn't dangerous enough. A letter from the Hero of Ferelden. To his worship, Inquisitor Llewellyn, I appreciate your warning regarding Corypheus. Fortunately, my own search has taken me out of the area where the supposed Magister is operating, and while I have encountered challenges of my own, they have not involved any weakness related to my Grey Warden abilities. As I have little useful information to offer, please accept the accompanying gifts instead. If in my quests I find anything that may be of use to you in your fight against Corypheus, I will send it to you immediately. I have also included a note of a personal nature for Leliana. I was not there for the death of Divine Justinia, but I know it will have hurt her terribly. While her wits and her skill are amazing, Leliana's greatest strength lies in her faith, and to have Justinia die strikes at her very core. I beg you, if she is faltering, help her find her way back into the light. In closing, I wish you luck. This world of the Shemlin is a difficult one for our kind, and I can only imagine the pressure of leading the Inquisition, an organization dedicated to the Chantry, while staying true to the way of 3 trees. May Mythal protect you in your quest, and Andriel bless your hunt. Yours, Warden Commander Mahariel of Ferelden. Magic. Eluvians. Let me tell you something. There are mirrors, old mirrors, from the ancient times when our people ruled every part of this land. Only they're not really mirrors, they're Eluvians. You find some dusty old scholar, he's going to tell you our people used Eluvians to talk to each other. Don't believe it. They're portals. You walk into one and eventually you come out the other side. Or, at least, this is what I'm told. You ever wonder why they've never found any elven roads, like our ancestors never walked anywhere? That's why. They used Eluvians, and there are still Eluvians in the old places today. Some of them even work, and Briala knows where they are. If we can get our hands on them, we'll have an advantage that no human could ever hope to counter. The ability to move across half of Thedas in a heartbeat. From a letter discovered in the ashes of a building in the Verschale alienage, 940 Dragon. The creation of a phylactery. We let the boy rest the first night they brought him to the White Spire. I convinced Knight Commander Belrose to delay the ritual till the morning. The journey was long, and the lad could barely keep his eyes open, poor thing. I was certain escape was the furthest thing from his mind. Medine found him a clean cot in with the other young apprentices, and when I came in with his supper he was already fast asleep. In the morning I showed Medine how the phial was to be prepared. First a simple charm to preserve and protect the glass, then a spell that kept the blood from forming dark clots. The last step could only be completed with the apprentice present. I sent a young Templar recruit off with the message that we were ready. The boy was escorted to the chamber by Belrose himself. I could tell he had just been awakened. There was a smear of dirt from his face, perhaps from the road. I called the boy to me and cleaned his cheek with my sleeve as I explained the ritual. "We have to take your blood," I said, "because you're special, and we don't want you to be lost. If it happens, the blood will allow us to find you and bring you home again." I let Medine take the lancet this time. The tremor in my hands was worse that day. and I didn't want to make too deep a cut. I held the boy close, and Medine made a small, neat incision on his palm, exactly as instructed. I felt the boy struggle and start to cry. He tried to pull away, but Medine gripped his hand firmly, letting the blood run into the phial. Then Medine cast the spell like we practiced. Within the phial the blood churned, and grew bright in the presence of the mage to whom it was bound. It was done. Another phylactery, another link forged. He was leashed to the White Spire. The boy could not look away from the glow. He was enthralled, and the pain and tears were forgotten. "See, this is magic," I said to him. "When you are older, I will teach you." Belrose let the boy hold his phylactery for several minutes before he locked it away in the chamber. From the Memoirs of Enchanter Reva Clay, 872 Blessed. The laws of nature in the Fade. It is simple to say that the laws of nature do not apply in the Fade, but while traveling in the Fade is often confusing for mages, it is rarely so chaotic as to defy description. In fact, while the placement of items may seem random, those items usually operate as we would expect them to in the real world. A book opens to show pages, although the pages may be blank or lined with gibberish. A pen and inkwell let the user write, though the pen may write on its own and the inkwell never runs dry. Those items that float usually hover at the relative height where they would have sat, had the objects meant to support them existed. Candles suspended in the air as though held by a phantom candlestick, for example. Why are the laws of the Maker bent but not fully broken? Why does a book not turn into a dragon, or a statue explode into countless shards of energy? The answer, I believe, lies in the fact that the items we see in the Fade were most often made by the hands of men. A statue is a created thing. The mortal hands that shaped it gave it purpose, and it knows what it is meant to do. The objects that strain against the laws of nature are ironically those that are more natural themselves. Great stones, for example, hang in the sky. No hand has ever touched them, no mortal mind shaped them to purpose. I suspect, though we may never know, that if dwarves dreamt and shaped the Fade with their own perceptions, the rocks would not float. From The Shape of the Fade by Enchanter Phineas Esarathan. Tales. O Grey Warden. O Grey Warden, what have you done? The oath you have taken is all but broken. All is undone, demons have come to destroy this peace we have had for so long. Ally or foe, Maker only knows. Ally or foe, the Maker only knows. The stronghold lives on, and the armies reborn, compelled to forge on. What will we become? Can you be forgiven when the cold grave has come? Or will you have won? Or will the battle rage on? O Grey Warden, what have you done? The oath you have taken is all but broken. All is undone, ash in the sun, cast into darkness the light we had won, as performed by the bard Meriden Halewell. Walking in the Fade, a Harrowing. I found myself on a plateau of swirling smoke and mist. I could not see my feet, or perhaps I had no feet in that place. Each step was treacherous. I had to believe there was a ground. If I didn't, there wouldn't be, and I would fall into nothingness. I was protected only by my will and my magic. The demon they made me face took the shape of a great cat. As we battled, it spoke in my mind. It told me that I would eventually stumble, and then it would pounce. The demon talked to me of the Templars beyond the veil, standing over my paralyzed body, their swords pointed at my heart, waiting for the moment of my failure. All it would take was a splinter of fear, a seed of doubt, and I would be unmade. The demon would devour my mind, and the Templars would destroy what was left of me. This was my harrowing. They force this upon all mages and call it good. But it is neither good nor right. It is evil and unjust. From a partially destroyed journal bearing no name, found in a Kinloch Hold cistern. Walking the Fade, Frozen Moments. I once studied the Fade as a scholar, dissecting it as a child might a rat or frog. I was young and craved the power conquering the Fade could bring. I tried in vain to chart its paths, and when that failed I attempted to secure them. In my arrogance, I struggled against the Fade's very nature. How does one pin down a dream? How can one control a thought so that it might travel always the same course from conception to completion? Only when I let go of my desires and humbled myself was the Fade opened to me. The spirits came and took it upon themselves to be my guides, my lanterns in the darkness. At their command the paths grew still, and I could walk them again and again. I was shown vast oceans containing not water but memories, drawn from the minds of dreamers. I drifted through frozen moments like paintings, perfect in each detail. As I explored this impossible realm, the spirits kept darker things at bay. I came to trust them, even love them, and I saw my own love reflected in them. To know the Fade, one cannot seek to master it. The Fade is the master, the teacher. We are merely apprentices. Writings of Magister Callistus of Terravane, known to some as Callistus the Fade-Touched. I wonder if this journal is Anders' journal. I mean, why the demon taking the shape of a giant cat, you know? But that is all there is to be read as far as I know. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.